Hi, I'm Dominic J. Stevenson of Words Are Weapons, and I'm here today with the CEO of SolarImpact, Maj Britt Arberg. Nice to
Hi,
see you again,
Dominic.
Maj Britt.
You as well.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm not bad, thank you. It's really nice to see you again. We are just going to talk today a little bit about the recent Culture Cracker project that I did on Maj Britt, and it was the first CEO portrait in a new series. Since then, there has been another CEO portrait, and I'm looking to do some more. So we just want to talk about that, and I want to ask Maj Britt, first of all, um, why you commissioned the Culture Cracker portrait.
Great question. So first, we had some great talks just in the beginning, and you introduced the concepts very clearly to me in many ways. And then, of course, I also asked to just have something more tangible in a written form, so I could also see that what you said is also sort of what I could expect. And in that way, it just gave me a lot of confidence that this way of being able to both brand myself, brand my company, but also to perhaps learn something new about myself that could be quite valuable to me. So that was, I think, my main and most important reason to actually commission this.
That's a lovely answer. Thank you.
Of course.
You have questions for me as well, don't you? We're
Yeah,
going to go
so
back
I'm
and
just
forth,
curious,
maybe.
and I think that perhaps that actually gives meaning to put this in here. I'm also curious to know a bit more, like, what is your main driver for making these CEO portraits? Now that I also know that you are quite new here in Denmark, and I'm just curious to know, like, where does this curiosity stem from?
Well, I think that's a good question. Yeah. I think that the CEO part, I mean, often I have added a new type of portrait to the range because somebody has suggested it. Often people have ideas, and then I will listen to the ideas, and then I will think, yeah, that's a viable option. It sounds like a good idea. But with the CEO, I thought there were going to be some powerful, impactful figures in Denmark that I can capture. And so while the project is open, I mean, ultimately to everybody, I think there have to be different avenues of it. And the CEO concept, I really like the idea of writing about women. So the CEOs will not all be women. The second one was a man, but I feel like I need to put on a pedestal women in positions of note, such as yourself. And I think the CEO and also the founder position, people who have started companies, I feel like this is really important to try to capture something of people out there in Denmark, because you know that my project is, I'm based in Denmark. I want to explore Danish companies, the people that are leading them in leadership positions, and say and do something, contribute something to the workplace here. And so the CEO, I think it was a natural development, really, to go into that and to have you as the first, and Mark has followed you, and I'm not sure who will be next, but I definitely want at least 50% to be women, if not more. I would really like to shine a light on female leaders in the workplace here in Denmark. Yeah.
And I think it's both. I'm really happy that you're an ally to all of the many female leaders that are out here and need to be heard and need to be seen, and also needed to be lifted, as many of the leaders in greater and C-level positions in C25 companies, there are males as well still. So I think it's a great way to highlight and to be lifted and supported in many ways.
Well, I think it's also important for me. It's not that I want to highlight what women are doing so in place of men, because I don't see it as a competition, I see it as women have such an incredible range of skills and qualities that they can bring to these positions that yes, historically they haven't had them because of men, but I think we should just focus on not the competitive element, and maybe that will always be there, but just who is better for a position. If a woman has it, hopefully she has that position because she is worthy of it and no other reason. And focusing on that, yeah. So I don't want to promote women because men don't deserve anything, but I think it's important to understand that too. I just feel that they need some more attention, and that this project can do that, and it will be a worthwhile result at the end of it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so it's my question next, isn't it? So I think. So how did the experience of being the first CEO portrait in the series feel?
Yeah, I don't know whether the experience was massively different being the first one, but I'm very honored to be the first one.
Yeah, okay.
I hope that both Mark and anyone who will follow the following will have this same experience. But for me, it has been a very pleasant journey to be a part of, where, as I also said in the beginning, we have had the opportunity to get to know each other. We have had some, I don't know even how many calls like these we have had, but there have been some, and it has been very, very interesting. Every time I think we have both ran out of time and also gone over, because the discussions has just run very natural. And I think you have a great way to always ask a bit deeper and make people feel very comfortable expressing and opening up about certain areas of themselves. So I think it's also the way that, even though it's not an interview, it's not in that way super planned or structured, it's very natural, it's very organic. But I think still there are some pathways that you very naturally guide participants through, and that has been quite an interesting and exciting journey, I would say.
Well, I think you're not just the first CEO, but you are. I mean, I'm often asked, what's my target audience for this project? Because it's niche, it's not like anything else. I mean, companies have graphic designers and they have content or copywriters. And even though there's a visual side and there's the written side, bringing them together, it's something completely different to either of those. But when people ask me what my target audience is, I mean, it's people like you who I can have conversations with. We get to know one another. They appreciate my project and that it does something different, and that they can be presented in a brand new light, seen and heard through words and then art, and that it can also be used in many ways. I mean, I will get to that at the end to ask you, how you're thinking about using it, because there are so many possibilities.
Yeah.
But so my target audience really is people like you who are open-minded, innovative, forward-thinking, which I think is something that I wrote in your portrait. And not everybody is like that. This project is not for everybody, no. But there are people out there who are also pushing and thinking and moving ahead, such as yourself, and those people would love this project, I think. So, yeah.
And I also think being a CEO of a smaller startup, like, we don't have the big money for all the nice marketing and all of that. So I also think it's a great opportunity to still have something done, whether it's about the CEO, whether it's about the company, it could be about the company history or whatever, but it still gives the company something very tangible that they can use both with the artwork but also the written statement, which is something that I can share a bit more on, also where I see we can use it for later and for later use. But yeah, we can take that by the end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I just have this small, it's like a snack question, you could say.
Okay.
So I know that you are a wordsmith. Like, you love to express yourself in lengthy words and sentences. So
Okay.
if
I'm
if
scared now.
I know, if I were to ask you to, in 3 words, just describe in 3 words, how would you like your participants to feel, or what should they get out of being a part of your culture cracker and this portrait?
3 words.
Yeah, I know. And you can have mine afterwards.
Seen, heard, valued. And when I say valued, I think in a way I mean loved. I mean, I feel that, and I've said it before, that when I write about a subject, I feel almost like I'm making love to them in words, which someone laughed about when I said it recently. I mean, it's it's people, it's places, it's events, it's companies, but I really feel like that is all there is in the whole world when I'm writing about it. It's capturing the energy, really trying to get under the skin and really find out what something is, what someone is, what it's really important to be intense in that moment, because and this is why I've said I don't prepare interview questions, because it's not an interview. As soon as I hear interview, I think, oh, it's more journalistic. That's not what this project is. It's almost the antidote, the opposite of that. And so people have said that they have felt seen and heard, and I thought, if they feel that, then the project has succeeded. And then valued, loved, appreciated, one of those or all of them would be the third word. So yeah, I'm stretching the 3 words again, but yeah, I think I did quite well there, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me,
yeah,
I
you can
think I
give
did well
yourself
there.
a bit tap on
Oh,
the shoulder.
thanks.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So it's really good question, I think, following on from what we've just said. What did you feel upon reading about yourself in that way?
Yeah, so I think I felt many things. And also, as you said, you have an interesting way to hearing the word interview, and because we also had some discussions back and forth when I was presented with my first draft of my portrait. It could also just be the fact that I'm not native English as you, so my vocabulary may not be as big or grand as yours. But that was I could see that one of the things that I gave you some feedback on weren't that I, but in that way, used the word interview. And here we had some issues, but we had some interesting dialogues, because we saw the final piece not with different eyes, but with different intentions, as I saw. And that journey, being able to both give my feedback, but also being able to discuss back and forth with you afterwards, that just because I see it in this way doesn't mean that I don't love it or I don't like it. It's just the way that I felt seen and heard, were it in the right intention, also compared to what my intention were when we had our dialogue. So I think there were a huge difference from when I saw my first draft to when I read the final piece, where when I read the final piece, I could really see that this is me. This is Maj Britt on a paper.
Okay.
In that way. And that was for me, that was very important, because that was when it clicked for me, and that was also where I actually felt seen and heard, and I could see that this brand that I was also spent years on building around myself and my career, that was where I could see that brand being unfolded through this piece of art and the written piece. So I think that journey was quite interesting, because first I was just like, wow, that was not brutal, but that was very honest. And then it was just like, but is it me? And then we had some very good and very learningful dialogues about like both our differences, but also our different intentions with the project.
Well, I think the slight bump in the road,
Yeah.
with communication, we were sending messages back and forth, and it was when we jumped on a video call just like this that we were much clearer on what was felt and what we wanted to come out of it, and then it made it much easier. So the dialogue, the importance of the dialogue, if you're sending endless messages back and forth, which it's possible people do in LinkedIn or email, just to have a call is so much more valuable. And then yeah, and I mean, the reason I send a first draft and don't just send a finished product is to get feedback on, because I have the way that I do things, and each project is different, but the general approach is the same. And then each person has an expectation, an idea of what they want it to be, and it's not always going to hit that. So sometimes in the past I've had an issue with a color. Someone didn't tell me that they didn't like a particular color before I did the artwork, and then it had that color in it, so I had to go back and change it. And people have had small and larger issues with something in the text or the artwork, but the dialogue is invaluable. If you don't have it, then the project can go wrong. If we discuss it openly and everybody talks about what they want from it and where they want it to go, then I think it works out. So as it did with us.
And I also think it's an important learning point, both perhaps from both of us, but also that even though you have a written art piece, it shouldn't take away the face-to-face or teams dialogue, because many things can be lost in communication, even though that you have the best intentions with something that you try to say. So I think it was a great learning experience in that way.
Well, when it comes to doing a project, I may be commissioned based on the overall sense of the project. Someone will have read several other portraits and then looked at the artworks, but when it comes to doing it about you, when it's about yourself, it's completely different. Then it's in a completely different realm. You're seeing yourself, reading about yourself, seeing yourself in art in a completely different way, and so it's much more personal. I mean, the project is personal, it's invasive, it's sensitive, but it's not like an interview, question answer, and then people read that interview, and it's completely different. So some people would not like being kind of seen in that way, I think, and other people will love it. So yeah, do you have another question for me then?
Yeah, I do. So that's perhaps more of a future prospect kind of thing, but how do you see these portraits once now you have completed 2, and I know that there will be more to come? How do you see the development of these portraits? Should we see them as an individual portrait, or do you have a plan to in some way gather them in any way,
do you mean the CEO ones?
Yeah, or just the portraits in general? I'm just curious, where do you see these portraits in 5-10 years, or just even a year from now?
Well, the CEO portraits, I'm not sure that I have a kind of exact plan for it. I mean, there could be 50, there could be 100, it could be ongoing. I think it just depends. It depends on the response, how people view it after it gets going. So the first couple, I think it's a really, I mean, it's impossible to write a portrait of the CEO without it having something about the company in it. So I believe the CEO portrait, what I've realized more and more is that no portrait is ever just on the one subject. So if I write a portrait of you, the CEO of SolarImpact, then SolarImpact is in there too, of course. You know, it's your personal branding, but of course it's something for the company as well.
Yes.
And so, you know, we're not just talking about a person, oh, CEO, you know, patting themselves on the back. It's not that. It's much bigger than that. And so moving forwards, I think that the project can celebrate the leaders, the founders, the CEOs, but I don't have I have not framed it exactly. I mean, as a creative person, I don't really want to put myself in boxes and say this is exactly this, because I feel that I'm evolving all the time. And, you know, I want to celebrate people in the workplace, in leadership positions and other positions and companies and events and lots of different kinds of portraits. But I'm not sure how I will feel towards each different type, you know, within 6 months, within 3 years. But the project in general, I mean, I think it has a lot of potential. I think that I can add something visually and with words to the Danish workplace that will connect people, will unite people, will communicate companies and their brands in a way that has not been previously done. And yes, I'm native Englishman, so the text is in English, but if a company really wanted it, I would work with them on translating the text into Danish, at least the text for the artwork, so it could be on the artwork in Danish. I mean, I'm not against things like that. But I know that lots and lots and lots of Danish people have a very high level of English, and I think that my work can still be admired, appreciated, commissioned, embraced, and become something that, I mean, my doctor's surgery has words on the wall in English as well as Danish, and so I think it can be appreciated widely in Denmark, even with English text on the artworks. So the project, I can see that the more people that find it, the more it will grow. And then, yeah, I can contribute something to, I mean, to be honest with you, I would absolutely love to do a portrait of the Danish royal family, something that if people are royalists, if they are interested in the royal family, you know, could be iconic and could be in multiple places. So this is kind of one portrait, because if a company or a person at a company, such a CEO such as yourself, commissions this project, then maybe they know how they want to use it, and it's just for that company or that person. But you know, the royal family is recognized across the country and beyond, and I think it would be cool to do something that could be in multiple places if it were appreciated in the way that I would like it to be. So yeah, Danish royal family is kind of a long-term goal for a project. Absolutely, I have to say it is. Yeah.
That's a great goal to have, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, there's something about them that is a little bit more interesting to me for a portrait than the British royal family, which is no criticism of the royal family of my homeland, but yeah, there's a kind of different, more approachable vibe to the Danish royal family, which I think would make them quite good to a portrait on. Yeah. Okay, so I have another question. So now, some months later, after we completed the project, how do you view it, and how do you plan to use it in your personal / company branding?
Yeah, so I think this journey, and also just because it's a journey that I personally have been on, has given me some inspiration that SolarImpact is a startup. We are a newer company. We just have had our 2-year birthday here in August.
Okay.
And therefore, it's a company that is still learning. But since I joined, and also in many ways how the company was founded, the skills, the beliefs that it was founded upon was very similar to many of the philosophies that you find in feministic leadership. So that is also why we have chosen, not just me, but as a company and also together with our board, that SolarImpact is led through these feministic leadership disciplines and approaches. And in that way, I see this very fittingly into our company story. We're still working on how we should present ourselves also on a website and LinkedIn and wherever, but still I'm still leaning towards having a page or something where both our clients, our current employees, our future employees can actually read about our leadership style and choices and the reasoning behind. And here I'm very happy that I can at least be the seed and perhaps also the person and the face for now to bring this story forward a bit more. So I really see that our artwork could be presented on our web, but also being integrated in some of our LinkedIn postings and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Are you still planning on putting it up on the wall at your office, or?
So that's also, yeah. So we just had our housewarming because we also had a new office. And we're still finishing the very small touches, so it's almost done. And I think that once we can say that now we're done, we are also ready to decorate a bit more, and in that way we could see for ourselves that a combination of pictures, both from many of our very fantastic client cases and the work that we have conducted around Denmark, but also this piece and some other brand material pieces that could be very nicely fitted on our pink company walls. So in that way, the color scheme fits really good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
everything.
It does.
Yeah.
But I can remember Did you say that you wanted them side by side, the cover and the cover poster and the? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I could see that, but right now, it's again also being a part of a decor. There are many things, but I could absolutely see that both having like our front page, the actual art piece, but also the whole written statement. I could for sure see that being blasted up on the wall again. Now we just need to figure out sizes and the decor around.
It takes a bit of time. I know
it
that.
does.
Yeah.
So that's still something that we work and play with, but absolutely, yeah.
Do you have any more questions for me?
No,
No.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I thought you had run out. I just have one more question.
Sure.
So having seen the potential of the Culture Cracker project, what would you say to others thinking about having one done, whether it's a CEO or company in general or event or other portrait?
I think that companies, people, CEOs, C-level people, whomever, I think, as you have stated a couple of times, this is not a portrait for everyone. It's not a process that will be suitable for anyone. But I think if you are a more I hate the word modern, but I still need to use it. If you see yourself as being a bit more forward-thinking, modern company where you want to integrate both diversity, inclusion, equality, you want to integrate both the younger generations and the more senior generations. If you want to be that company that many have a picture on and maybe think, oh, that's a bit woke.
Okay.
I actually think that this is a kind of project and a kind of platform where you can get a lot of your company personality, company story, but also the person being interviewed. You can get a lot of knowledge out of that by taking part of that of this project. And I would highly encourage people that if they see themselves as being a bit different to what you normally have in big corporate companies, this is absolutely something that you should go for.
So just to add to that, or to ask you, somebody recently said that it's the outsider's perspective that's quite valuable about this project, because I'm not in the company, in your company or the company of someone else that I write the portrait about, and so I have a completely different perspective as well as being creative. And would you agree with that having value then?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, especially for smaller companies, but I think it goes for any company, being evaluated from an external part, that is actually where you can see whether you have succeeded or not. That is where you can see whether it's a personal branding story or it's a company profile story you want to give away. You can see that it is actually being heard and also taking in the way that you actually want it to be seen, heard, and felt. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today and talking with me about that. Thanks, Maj Britt.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you.